The Chateau Laurier was named for Sir Wilfrid Laurier, who was the Prime Minister of Canada between 1896 and 1911, and this hotel opened in 1912, named in his honor.
See that long hallway? The elevator's way down there. And we're down here at the end. We're at the Fairmont Chateau Laurier, yes, in downtown Ottawa. The view out our window, evidently the American Embassy's right over there somewhere. 7:30 at night, but then we're in the northern climes and it gets dark later. We have this nice sitting area, nice bar, TV, separate bedroom with another TV. 7:30 we might think about finding something to eat. It's been a long day. Plane was delayed an hour out of Newark, New Jersey because of severe weather. I'd rather sit in Newark and wait for the severe weather to pass, so no problem.
We had dinner at Zoe's downstairs in the hotel, named for Sir Wilfrid Laurier's wife, Lady Zoe. It was originally a concert hall and then was remodeled and became a bar and for snacks in the late 1980s. I had cioppino and Stu had a lobster salad. Both were really good. Well, luckily it's not raining this morning. We're headed out and see what we can find in Ottawa, the capital of Canada. And right over there are the Parliament buildings, and over here is a war memorial. There's a flag here for each of the 10 provinces and the 3 territories that make up Canada. They are Alberta, British Columbia, Manitoba, New Brunswick, Newfoundland, and Labrador, Nova Scotia, Ontario, Prince Edward Island, Quebec, and Saskatchewan. The 3 territories are the Northwest Territories, Nunavut, and Yukon. We notice real quickly that every sign is in French and English. Not true when we got to Quebec, where it's only French. Across the street is the National War Memorial in Confederation Square. The National War Memorial, titled The Response, is a tall granite memorial arch with bronze sculptures and was dedicated by King George VI in 1939. Originally, it was built to commemorate Canadians who died in the First World War. In 1982, it was rededicated to include those killed in the Second World War and the Korean War, and then again in 2014 to add the dead from the Second Boer War and the war in Afghanistan, as well as all Canadians killed in conflicts past and future. In 2000, the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier was added in front of the memorial and symbolizes the sacrifices made by all Canadians who have died or may yet die for their country. Nearby is the Valiants Memorial, a military monument commemorating 14 key figures from the military history of Canada. Completed in 2006, the work consists of 9 busts and 5 statues, all life-sized. Pierre d'Iberville was, among other things, soldier, ship captain, explorer, colonial administrator, adventurer, privateer, and trader. But most importantly, he was the founder of the French colony of La Louisiane of New France. Joseph Brant was a Mohawk military and political leader based in present-day New York. He was closely associated with Great Britain during and after the American Revolution. Laura Secord's claim to fame is that during the War of 1812, between the U.S. and Great Britain, She walked 20 miles out of American-occupied territory in 1813 to warn British forces of an impending American attack. Nearby is the War of 1812 monument, which is located in the southeast corner of the grounds of Parliament Hill. It commemorates the 200th anniversary of that war. Its central base symbolizes the rocky cliff of Parliament Hill. Its boat-shaped bases represent maritime battles, and the 7 bronze figures represent the key combatants that came together to defeat the American invasion. This is a real nice 3D map showing Parliament Hill overlooking the Ottawa River. In the bottom left corner is our hotel. Across the river is the East Block. To the right is the Center Block and the Parliament Library. And then the West Block with the Confederation building behind, and at the top, the Supreme Court building. This is Parliament Hill, known locally as the Hill. It's an area of Crown land on the southern banks of the Ottawa River. Its Gothic Revival-style buildings is the home of the Parliament of Canada. Since 2002, an extensive $1 billion renovation and rehabilitation project has been underway. Work is not expected to be completed until after 2028. This is the East Block. It contains offices for members of Parliament, as well as some preserved pre-Confederation spaces. Center Block is the main building of the Canadian Parliamentary Complex. It contains the original House of Commons and Senate chambers, as well as the offices of a number of members of Parliament, senators, and senior administrators for both legislative houses. The Library of Parliament sits at the rear of the Center Block. It's the main information repository and research resource for the Parliament. It's been called the most beautiful room in Canada. It's the only part of the original Center Block to survive a huge fire in 1916. It was completed in 1876 and was built in the Victorian Gothic style. We couldn't get near it due to the renovation work, but I did find a picture online. The West Block has housed the interim House of Commons chamber since January 2019, while the Center Block is closed. The West Block houses offices for parliamentarians, a branch of the Library of Parliament, committee rooms, and some preserved pre-Confederation spaces. The Confederation building is a Gothic Revival office building located just west of the Parliament buildings. It's generally considered part of Parliament Hill. Work on the building began in 1927 as part of the celebration of Canada's Diamond Jubilee, and it opened in 1931. The Supreme Court of Canada building is located just west of Parliament Hill on a bluff high above the Ottawa River. Construction began in 1939 and was completed in 1946. The building is renowned for its Art Deco decorative details. Almost directly across the street is St. Andrew's, the oldest Protestant Presbyterian church in Canada. The current church building was built between 1872 and 1874 in the Neo-Gothic style. In the 1970s, it was decided to lease the land to the rear of the church. The Sunday school building there was torn down after a fire, and an office building, St. Andrew's Tower, was built in its place in 1988. This building is attached directly to the rear of the church and is now the headquarters of the Department of Justice, and the congregation has offices and rooms on the lower levels.